A single dad was bringing groceries to an elderly woman's house when he noticed something peculiar about her. The woman was so wealthy that she didn't even need the food he had brought for her. And her granddaughter, who came to open the door, turned out to be a billionaire with a dark secret. But how did all of this happen? Let's find out in today's episode. Every Saturday, Michael brought groceries to Mrs. Parker, an elderly lady who lived in a mansion at the end of his street. One Saturday afternoon, after finishing his grocery run, Michael headed toward Mrs. Parker's house. It was a big house, but what made it special for Michael was that his daughter Lily loved to play hide-and-seek there. When Lily was small, Mrs. Parker would let her come over to play since she didn't have any grandchildren. They were practically family. Michael rang the doorbell, and before long the door opened. Standing there was a young woman with beautiful emerald green eyes. "Can I help you?" she asked. Michael realized he must have pressed the doorbell a bit too early, because Lily was supposed to be home doing her homework. Who was this girl? "Hi, I'm here to deliver groceries to Mrs. Parker," Michael said. "Oh, you must be the new neighbor everyone's been talking about. I'm Olivia Parker, her granddaughter." Just then, Mrs. Parker appeared behind her. "I heard someone was at the door." "What is it, Olivia? You shouldn't keep people waiting like that." "Sorry, Grandma. Come on in," Olivia said. She stepped aside to let Michael enter, but he couldn't help but glance around. The interior of the house was extremely luxurious. There were paintings on the walls that looked like they were worth a fortune. "This place is gorgeous," Michael finally remarked. Olivia gave him a self-conscious smile. "Thanks. My grandma loves to keep it up to date." She led Michael to the kitchen where Mrs. Parker was already looking at the groceries. "You really shouldn't have brought me these, Michael. You know I don't like to impose on you, but your daughter told me you've been bringing over extra food every week, so I thought maybe we could share some. Well, I have a lot, so it's no trouble at all. Plus, Lily insisted I bring you some extra things today. She said you needed some bread, right?" "That's right. Thank you, Michael. That's very sweet of you. But you really don't need to do this. Your thoughtfulness is appreciated, though. Now, why don't you sit down and have some tea with me while Olivia gets the things unpacked?" As Michael sat down, he took a good look at his surroundings. He realized that despite the large size of the house, it seemed strangely empty. Apart from the paintings, there was nothing else that suggested anyone lived here. After sipping his tea, Michael finally asked, "Where are your parents, Olivia?" "I mean, if you don't mind my asking." "Oh, my parents live overseas. They travel a lot. In fact, they won't be back until next month," she replied, averting her gaze. The rest of the afternoon passed in a pleasant manner. Michael had a wonderful conversation with Mrs. Parker, who turned out to be quite witty for someone her age. Soon it was time for him to go. "Thank you again for the groceries, Michael." "I really appreciate it," Mrs. Parker said. "Of course, ma'am, it was my pleasure. Well, I'll be going now. See you next week," Michael said. As he turned to leave, Olivia suddenly called out to him, "Mr. Jones, wait a minute." Michael turned around to face her. "Yes, Olivia?" she asked hesitantly. "Do you think you could stay for dinner? I mean, if it's not too much trouble, because I'm not really sure if Grandma will eat much tonight. She's been losing her appetite lately, you know." Michael felt a pang of sympathy for the old woman. Of course, he would stay. As the evening wore on, Michael discovered that Olivia's parents weren't just traveling the world. They were also trying to get a divorce. Olivia was hoping her father would change his mind, but she wasn't holding out much hope. Her mother, on the other hand, was adamant about ending the marriage. Meanwhile, Mrs. Parker listened quietly to their conversation without saying a word. When Michael first arrived, she had indeed planned to have him stay for dinner, but not for the reason she had given him. After all, she had plenty of money and didn't have to worry about feeding one extra person. In reality, Mrs. Parker recognized Michael from somewhere, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. She had seen him around town a few times, but she never got a proper look at his face. As Michael and Olivia spoke, Mrs. Parker stole glances at him, trying to figure out where she knew him from. Suddenly, she remembered. Years ago, Michael had been the lead singer of a popular band. She used to go to their concerts with her husband. "No wonder you look familiar," she muttered under her breath. After the meal, Michael bid farewell to his two companions and returned home. He couldn't stop thinking about how strange Mrs. Parker's behavior had been. Why had she invited him to stay for dinner? Did she recognize him from his music days? Over the next few weeks, Michael continued bringing groceries to Mrs. Parker's house, but she never mentioned the topic of him staying for dinner again. One day, as Michael was unloading his car, Olivia approached him. "Are you busy this weekend, Mr. Jones?" she asked. "I don't think so. I don't think so." "Why do you ask?" "Well, I was wondering if you could take care of my grandmother while my parents and I are away. We're going on a trip to Europe and we won't be back for a few weeks. So I was hoping you could stay with her just in case she needs anything." "I'm sorry, but I can't do that," Michael responded quickly. He knew he should be more careful with his tone, but he didn't want to take on the responsibility of looking after Mrs. Parker. He had enough on his plate already. Why not? "You seem to have a lot of time on your hands. And besides, you already visit her every week. Won't it be convenient for you?" Olivia pressed. "I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Perhaps you could ask one of your neighbors instead?" Michael tried to sound polite, but Olivia wasn't having it. "You're being rude, Mr. Jones, and I won't stand for it. You'll watch me leave and you'll regret turning down this offer, I promise." With that, she spun around and marched into the house, slamming the door behind her. Michael shook his head, wondering what was wrong with the girl. He decided not to give it another thought and went inside to get ready for the weekend. The following Saturday, Michael arrived at Mrs. Parker's house only to find it completely empty. All of her furniture was gone, along with her paintings and even the curtains. Had she moved, he wondered? As he stood there bewildered, a black SUV pulled up in front of the house. Olivia emerged from the car and strode confidently toward him. "So you're here?" she stated matter-of-factly. "What happened to the house? It sold last week? Care to explain, Olivia?" Michael demanded. "I told you I needed your help, but you refused, so I found someone else to take care of things here. Besides, I didn't have much use for an old house anyway." "It was time to sell," she said nonchalantly. "But what about your grandmother? Where is she?" "She's in a better place now. She passed away peacefully in her sleep a few days ago." "I'm glad I never had to tell you the truth," Olivia replied coldly. "What truth?" Michael asked, sensing that something was off. Olivia hesitated for a moment, but then she relented. "All right, I guess I owe you an explanation. My grandmother wasn't exactly who she pretended to be. She wasn't just a rich socialite, she was also the leader of a powerful crime syndicate. She made her fortune through illegal means, and she wanted me to carry on her legacy. That's why I offered you the job. I thought you would make the perfect apprentice. But you turned me down, which meant I had to find someone else. Fortunately, I had plenty of options." "I still don't understand why you thought I would agree to work with you," Michael said. "I was hoping you could bring your daughter, Lily, into the family business. She has your eyes, by the way. You must be her father. I've heard so much about you." Olivia's phone vibrated, signaling the arrival of her next target. "Oh, it's time for our next meeting. I'll see you later, Michael," she said with a sinister smile. With that, she got into the car and sped away, leaving Michael standing there in the dust, shocked and horrified to learn about Olivia's true nature. He had no idea she was involved in such dangerous activities. Michael hurried home, eager to warn Lily about her cousin. But when he arrived, the house was empty. Michael searched everywhere for Lily, but she was nowhere to be found. On the table, he found a note that read, "Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm with my cousin now." Then he saw a drawing of a heart with two figures inside, representing Lily and Olivia. Michael stared at the drawing, his face pale with worry. He had a bad feeling about this. He knew he had to find Lily and bring her home. But where would Olivia take her? As Michael pondered where to start his search, he remembered seeing a news report about a series of robberies in nearby towns. The description of the getaway car matched the same one Olivia had driven. Could she be behind these crimes? And what had she done with Lily? Determined to find answers, Michael contacted the police and provided them with all the details he knew about Olivia. With the authorities now involved in the case, Michael waited anxiously for any news they might have. Days turned into weeks, but there was still no sign of Lily or Olivia. Michael's hope began to dwindle, believing he might never see his daughter again. Then one evening, as Michael was going through old photos of Lily, he stumbled upon a picture of her and Olivia together. Upon closer inspection, he noticed something peculiar. In the background of the photo, he recognized the interior of a warehouse he had seen in a police report. It was the same warehouse where the stolen items from those robberies were stored. Armed with this new evidence, Michael rushed to the police station to share his findings. The officers were quick to act on this lead, and they dispatched a team to the warehouse. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the ground, the police finally entered the warehouse. What they found inside was both shocking and heartwarming. Lily and Olivia were there, but they weren't alone. The room was filled with stolen goods and weapons, confirming Olivia's involvement in the robberies. However, Michael noticed something strange. His daughter was sitting calmly on a chair as if everything was all right. Meanwhile, Olivia was on the floor with her hands cuffed behind her back. "Lily, what's going on here? Are you all right?" Michael rushed to his daughter, his voice trembling with concern. "Dad, you came to rescue me," Lily exclaimed with a wide grin. "Of course I did. I was worried sick." "What happened here? How did the police find us?" "Don't worry about the details, sweetheart. The important thing is that you're safe now," Michael said, hugging her tightly. Olivia glared at them, seething with resentment. "You ruined everything, Michael. My plans are foiled and I'll never forgive you," she spat. Michael ignored her and turned his attention back to Lily. He gently wiped away her tears and asked, "Do you want to come home now, honey?" "Yes, please," she replied, burying her face in his shoulder. As they were leaving the warehouse, Michael couldn't help but cast one last glance at Olivia. She looked defeated and angry, knowing she wouldn't succeed in her plans without her accomplices. Back at home, Michael and Lily shared a warm embrace. It was a relief to have her back safe and sound. "I'm so glad you're home, Lily. I was so worried about you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I'm sorry, Dad, for causing you so much trouble," Lily apologized. "It's all right, honey. The important thing is that you're here now. Let's forget about that crazy adventure ever happened." And so their lives returned to normal, or so they thought.